road is SPIFI? Tell us a little bit about
SPIFI,
SPIFI.
okay. Well, I told you the experience all people had in handling benefits numbers and trying to attribute them to be something else.
Sure.
I realized no one really marginalized the presentation that much in the general discussions we had afterwards, but I still realized they were thinking, well, those are probably this kind of store, that kind of store, I can't do it. And then I also remembered that IBM had a class internally for their marketing people back in 69, 70, called Marketing in the 70s, and you played a game in that class, the famous computer business game. I'm going to put this much on research, this much on product, this much on all these different advertising. They had all these things like that. And you'd play against 3 other teams, and they'd run the computer, and then you'd find out how much you made or lost. We ought to do that for grocery stores. And so I thought about that on the way, and I said, we ought to create a game based on this model, benefits model. And I decided I was going to go see one of the managers of that president's class. And so it turned out I had an opportunity to be up in New York City within 2 weeks. And I went to see this guy, Dave Clutter, and he said, he was excited. He said, oh my God, that's great, because these poor guys, they put on this class for all these people, and then they never hear from them again. I don't know where it goes. So this is something's really coming back. And so we talked about that. I said, we need to get a program. And we sort of laid out how the game might be played. I talked to the people in industry marketing up there, and within a week I got a call of this guy, Howard Katz, who was an SE in Toronto, knew APL real well, and would be available to create this program. So he flew down to New York, I flew up to New York, we met in Dave's office, and we laid out this thing where you started out as a supermarket chain of 100 stores. You want to change it to 4 stores? Okay, you can change any number. You're 100 stores, and here's the standard store report, which was an average out of the annual report from the industry as to how the grocery chains were, as a percent of sales. Everything was a percent of sales. And here's what your benefits are, and here's what the costs are for all kinds of automation, and you could change them. And if you wanted to buy something different, you could adjust the benefits, and you could also adjust when the benefit kicked in, because you might put scanning in now, but you don't have the discipline to really get all the benefits for another month, or 2 months, or 3 months, or whatever you wanted to say. So you have this 100-store chain to start with, and you do this thing, and it would just sit there and crank. In APL, he wrote that program in about 90 days. And it was a phenomenal program, because it would sit and crank through, and it would tell you quarterly, here's what your chain is now, here's what it started, here's what it is now, here's what it is now, That's the program that Al Haberman and Bill Lottie saw at the food marketing show that day. And Haberman said, if I'd had this thing 3 years ago, we'd still be a going business. So anyway, it was a great thing. The other fun story about it was, as you know, situations developed such that I left IBM and found myself 3 years later working for a competitor of IBM. And one of the salesmen, that was also a good experience, but one of the salesmen came and says, I got the secrets, I got IBM secrets. And he handed me my benefit starting point.